Take my hand. I'll lead you into death. By a Whisper in the Shadows on AO3. Episode 36. Chapter 20. Katsuki grunted as he hit the ground, stomach rolling. The shouts of his classmates filled the air around him. He shoved himself to his feet, analyzing his surroundings. He was in a cell? Shinsou was next to him, as well as Kirishima, Aizawa, and Mina. The others had been spread around the room, behind other bars. His eyes landed on white hair. His breathing catched on Eri, clung to Yamada. Have fun, Shigaraki. A voice called from the dark. Katsuki barely acknowledged the villain stepping forward, other members of the League with him. He found green. Before he could even think to use his quirk, Izuku's nanotech was around his wrists, canceling it. He ran to the cerebrals, gripping them as his classmates' explanation of shock filled the air. Izuku was being dragged away by two large men, eyes wide, mouth slack. Katsuki called out to him, Izuku! Izuku's eyes grew impossibly wider when they found Katsuki's. Katsuki's heart shackled at Izuku's screams as he disappeared from view. Isn't this all sweet? Shigaraki's scratchy voice echoed from around the room as he stood forward. The whole gang's all together. We even got family reunions. It makes me sick. He sighed, stretching dramatically. I was gonna play around a little, but I like Akio's idea of letting you suffer first. He's disgustingly brilliant, you know, even if he likes to mess with my plans. It's irritating. Anyways. He turned, walking away, throwing a wave over his arms. Only Toga and Dabi were with him, Kirigiri somewhere in the shadows. Agakuri. Was that Papa? Are we just gonna leave them alone? Toga asked. That doesn't seem very smart. Dabi grumbled in agreement. Shigaraki just laughed. See those little bracelets on their wrists? Any handy development from our friend. Quirk suppressants at their finest. Besides. He turned, red eyes shining with death. They wouldn't do anything to risk their little assassin. Isn't that right, Kachan? Katsuki growled, gripping the bars tighter. Aizawa stepped behind him, pulling him away. Katsuki knew they were right. At this point, he wasn't sure what he would do to keep Izuku safe. Toga gasped. Oh, you mean Bunny? Gosh, he's a scary thing, isn't he? Oh, but he looks so cute covered in blood. There was a number of startled protests from his classmates. Katsuki's breath deeply, forcing himself to stay calm. Panicking and getting angry would only make everything worse for everyone. He wouldn't show weakness. The League continued to walk away, ignoring his classmates' shouts. You're just going to walk away? Cowards! Fuck you! Shinsou yelled, louder than the rest. Hitoshi. Yamada warmed from his cage, reaching a hand out to calm him. Shinsou stepped forward, ready to try again, but Katsuki grabbed his arm. He kept his eyes on the retreating backs of the villains. His heart was racing, palms sweating, but he needed to remain calm. He needed to keep the rest of them calm. Rage may gain some success in battles, but it was futile in winning wars. Bang, bang, bang. They were all quiet. Hisashi's voice had echoed for a while as he sang Eri to sleep. But since they had been there had been very little talking. Only occasional whispers and footsteps were left, as well as an interesting attempt of escape. Bang, bang, bang. Shouta wasn't sure how much time had passed. If he could have guessed, an hour, which meant Nezu had to have been notified and they were already gathering heroes. Still, from personal experience, he knew how long rescue missions would take. Bang, bang, bang. He knew how much of the class remembered when the portal showed up. The whole class experienced the teleportation during the USJ attack, but then there were those who experienced Bakugou kidnapping firsthand, watching him as he was taken. They appeared tenser than most. Bang, bang, bang. Would you stop that? Todoroki, of all people, snapped at Kaminari, Sero, and Sato. They had been continuously banging a rock they found against their jail bars, to no avail. I don't know what these bars are made of, but clearly those rocks are not going to do anything. The three boys sank back to sit against the wall, dejection evident on their faces. Sorry, Rogi, Sarah whispered. This felt kinda useless sitting around. They weren't the only ones to try. Shoji did his best at the beginning, pulling with his natural strength. Shouta even tried tugging at them with his scarf. He had a feeling it wouldn't work, but he needed to try something. Oh, little listeners, Hizashi cooed. Don't feel useless. These villains have prepared a lot for this. If anything, it's us who should be apologizing for not being able to keep you safe. Shouta agreed. That was his job, his sole purpose as a teacher, and he had failed. Not even once, but continuously. He clenched his jaw. They should be so disappointed in him. Hisashi's right. It is our duty as teachers to protect you, and we failed. You've been sitting here. We can't come up with a way to help you all. To help Izuku. He pushed himself to stand, bowing deeply. I am truly sorry for failing you. Don't be too hard on yourself, Teach. Kirishima's bright voice spoke up among Shota's students' protest. His smile, though smaller than usual, was still ever present. He sat next to Bakugou, a gentle presence. He didn't touch him or offer comfort words, but Shouta knew him being near, being seen, helped Bakugou, even a little. The room lapsed into silence again. Shouta was growing increasingly worried about Bakugou, who only stared at the ground. Not a hint of his unusual rage flowed from him. Only a blank expression and hunched shoulders. Shouta was shocked he had tried ripping the place apart yet. A part of him could guess that the boy was thinking. He had matured intensely from his first year, and even more since Izuku came back to his life. He was probably terrified of any wrong moves hurting Izuku. Shouta groaned inwardly. When they got out of this, he prayed they would. An infinite amount of sessions with Hound Dog would be needed. They were just children. They shouldn't have to face so much so soon. Yes, they were training to be heroes, and yes, they chose this path, but they were still students. So many pros had yet to face the nightmares they had already. Shouta glanced around the room, his chest filled with a warm pride, a sudden realization overcoming him. Their expressions were not of defeat. Their silence wasn't showing they had given up. Determination shone from their eyes. They were all planning, all thinking of a way to get out of this. Despite everything, Shouta smiled. They were going to make incredible heroes. I'm sorry. Hitoshi's voice was quiet, aimed at Bakugou, who sat across from him. I shouldn't have snapped at you and Izuku earlier. I should have listened first. Bakugou gave no response, no indication he had even heard Hitoshi. Kirishima smiled wider at him, however. Don't fret, bro. I was wrong too. I thought something was off, but read the situation badly. We all make mistakes, he said. Hitoshi sighed. I know. Just the whole thing with Eri and the Nomu earlier, I just felt on edge. I didn't know there was something in the way Izuku looked at the card that reminded me of... He trailed off, suddenly tense, unsure of how to finish. Reminded you of Reaper? Bakugou's voice was quiet. He looked up finally, eyes finding Hitoshi's, who nodded, guilt all over his expression. Shouta rested that he hoped was a comforting palm on his shoulder. I'm not mad. Bakugou continued. And I don't blame you. Trust me. When I caught sight of his expression, I was startled as well. He was scared. That card, that name, it brought him right back before he was even taken. He took a steadying breath. But it's not your fucking fault, alright? I don't get why Izuku was freaked out either. I don't see what the card said. You were right. I was automatically defensive of Izuku. It's none of our faults. Not yours, mine, Teach, Izuku's, anyone's. The only person at fault is the bastard who took him. Papa. Akio. So stop beating yourself up about it, because it's not going to get us anywhere. He stood up. No, let's fucking blow this joint. A slow clap echoed from the shadows. Shouta jumped back to his feet, many others following. Now, wasn't that just precious? Papa stepped out from the shadows. He tilted his head, giving a small pout. But really, Katsuki, you must understand, this really is all your fault. Bakugo's breath caught as he stumbled backwards. Ashita was behind him before Shouta could move, holding his arms to ground him. No. Bakugo grasped. No, it's not. It's... Oh, but it is. I mean, really. All of it. From the very beginning. Even when I first met Izuku. He would never, ever shut up about his precious little Ka-chan. Papa groaned dramatically. Kami, it made me sick. And then, no matter how many times I broke him, no matter how many times I tore him apart to fix him, to make him perfect, better, it was always you he thought of. Even when his dear mother and father had drifted from his mind, Ka-chan always brought him back. Which meant Ka-chan was always the reason he fell. Kirishima and Hitoshi moved towards the bars, reaching out in vain attempts to grab Akio. He smiled from the other side of the cell, stepping closer than most would dare. Katsuki had fallen to his knees, Shouta quickly by his side with Ashita. Even now he screams for you. Would you like to hear him? Akio lifted a device in his hand. Shouta finally snapped out of his shot and into his hero training, whipping a scarf through the cell and catching the man's wrist. Akio's smile only got wider as he yanked against the bar cells. Then, his eyes changed. Red melted to deep black. Hitoshi screamed, falling to the floor. Hitoshi! Shinsou! A number of shouts echoed around the room. Eri cried, gripping onto Hizashi, burying her face in his chest. Shouta dropped his grip, rushing to his son's side. He stopped screaming, only shaking slightly. No, that is not how we play nice. Akio croaked his head. I suppose that answers a question of mine. Your scarf really has nothing to do with your quirk. Impressive. He sighed. But it won't do. He reached out a hand, indicating for Shouta to hand over a scarf. Shouta hesitated, only for a moment. But still too long. Akio's eyes, going black again, was the only warning he got before his husband was screaming. Okay. Here, take it. He threw the scarf at Akio, rushing over to the bars, separating him and his husband. Uraraka and Shoji stood by him, Yaoyorozu holding Eri tight to her chest. Hizashi was reassuring them that he was okay, but Shouta could see the pain in his eyes. Hitoshi was next to Shouta, reaching through the bars to his dad. Ashita was still comforting Katsuki. Kirishima with them as well. No one knew what to do, what move to make. Kami, all this pain and suffering. Katsuki, doesn't it bother you? How much you hurt people? Shouta gripped Hitoshi's shoulders, turning back to Bakugo. Don't listen to him. This isn't your fault. You want to hear how much pain you're really causing, Katsuki? Akio lifted his recording device again. Stop it. Bakugo gasped, hands clutching on the floor. You know, Katsuki, I'm feeling generous too. Otherwise, I'd be showing you a video. Please stop. Are you ready? Are you ready to hear the pain you cause? No, please! Shouta moved back to his student, trying to get him to understand this wasn't his fault, trying to block his ears, pull him away from the villain. It was no use. There was no escape from the sound emitting from Akio's device. The screams were horrifying, screeching, broken, guttering, choking, terrified cries filled the air, echoing in their prison. Bakugo's cries joined quickly, both boys begging for release. Shota's other students followed soon after. Katsuki had turned, buried his face in Shota's chest, whimpering a mantra of refusals, begging for it to end. Kirishima held Ashito in her hands, covering her ears. Eri's cries of Zuku echoed through the chamber. Then, Ka-chan! Broken, guttural, and full of pure agony. Izuku's voice rang through the room. It rattled through Shota's body, gripping his heart with cold claws. Bakugo screamed louder. Izuku's voice continued to echo. Even after the sound stopped, Bakugo panted against Shouta, breaths heaving and wet. No one spoke. The air was thick and heavy. Shouta couldn't bring himself to say anything to comfort his students. Praying, holding him was close enough. He knew it wouldn't be. What else could you do after hearing such torture? Don't you see, Katsuki? He still calls to you. He won't let go. He won't give in to who he truly is. And until he does, all his pain is all on you. Akio let that sit with Bakugo. He whined, low and pained. Shouta released the urge to growl at the villain, growling at him as he stood and sauntered back to the door. Bakugou shifted and showed his arm, tucking. Why? He croaked. Why show me us that? What was the point? The motive? Is this some kind of fucking warning? Huh? Akio continued to walk away. Answer me! Bakugou screeched. Akio paused. He didn't turn immediately, allowing Bakugou's heavy breaths, chasing the echo of his demand. Then he laughed. Why? It's quite simple, really. Slowly he turned, a smirk playing on his lips, while evil danced in his eyes. I just don't like you, Ka-chan. Bakugou's scream was no longer one of pain. It was pure, unadulterated rage. Okay, apologies for the weird mishap with my mic. I was not gonna re-record all that shit because I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I'm tired, and I'm sleepy. Sleep debt still has not gotten to me. I slept way more than I should have last night. I think it was 10 hours. Not 19 hours, so that's a plus. And I'm probably gonna pass the fuck out after this. So I am hounding on the fact that sleep debt has gotten to me and I actually can sleep and have slumber, and I like it. Sure, I wake up and thinking, what the fuck time zone am I in? What year am I in? But it is the best sleep that I've had in literal months, so I'ma take it. But that was agonizing. That hurt my soul. That actually pained me. Really fucking pained me. Please read. First, thank you for all your support. Like, oh my god, happy tears just continues when I flow to read comments. Okay, so I actually wasn't going to post this chapter, but the chapter that I hope I could get done by Friday, I might not be able to do because I'm busy with my friends, so I decided to post this. Fair warning, all angst, content warning at the end. I want to see the content warning. Torture, physical abuse, mental torture, manipulation, just Izuku being hurt. Yeah, okay, so you hate me. So you hate me. So you hate me. With a passion of 1,000 burning stars is what I'm hearing. Fuck you. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.